Alright, so picture this. I was sitting in my room at 2 in the morning thinking about what I should do next in my Minecraft series. While I was going over things I'd already done, episodes I already recorded, a particular thought occurred to me. Minecraft, when I'm playing it and I'm recording it, feels kinda lonely. So when I'm playing with myself, when I'm playing with myself and wandering through the modded landscapes, finding ruins, villages, outposts, ships, and all kinds of other stuff, there's a lingering feeling that's hard for me to ignore. Everyone who plays Minecraft with single player, I believe, has probably felt this. You are alone in your world. And for the most part, this isn't an issue, except it was something that intrigued me. Every time I would walk out of the woods into a clearing, I saw a distant mountain or some other piece of mesmerizing scenery. That feeling was always there. I found myself thinking about a multiplayer world I set up with my friends just a couple of months ago. You know, the rules in this world weren't as clear. It was just us three, but I found myself gravitating towards being the explorer guy. And basically, I barely helped. All I would do is leave the base for days at a time. I'd go 15,000 blocks away, collect a bunch of crap, then I'd come back. And when I was with my friends at the base, doing things there, it was fine. It was all dandy. Nothing bad was happening. When I ventured out, all of a sudden, I was alone again. And that feeling came back, that same feeling. I would occupy myself just by taking screenshots of what I saw, and I'd post them in the Discord while we were in the call. And again, that feeling was there. It was just me out there, and while they were doing something else, I was far the hell away. You know, and all survival alone has that feeling ever present with the player. There's no one else there but you. Unless you install some kind of mod that makes villagers turn into like NPCs or something. But even then, they're just NPCs. They're not real people. Without multiplayer, you truly are alone.
What we do here is go back.
When I started my Minecraft series, I really tried to recapture my first feelings when playing the game. I started on the Xbox 360 tutorial world, and it's been 10 years. Yeah, specifically the first tutorial world, and then later to U14. And let me tell you, I played 4 hours. Years of my very adolescent life was lost to Minecraft on the Xbox 360. To a very young 7 to 8 year old me, that game was magical. It was larger than life. When I watched the videos I used to watch on YouTube, popular MMOs, Dan TDM, and I go back to older versions of the game, it for some reason it isn't the same. I guess like maybe young me filled the gaps with my imagination. I don't know. Despite this, I still remembered that first feeling when opening the game and playing it for the first time and playing the tutorial. So, and I tried to download a bunch of mods, and I hope that these mods would give me that same feeling. I made Minecraft somewhat different, so that it was new. It wasn't the same about what I was used to. What I got in return wasn't the same feeling, but a completely new one. I was constantly in awe of the scenery, and I found myself sitting there watching it all the time. When I'm not recording, I'm out looking for new things to take screenshots of, while at the same time collecting stuff for my base and, preparing myself for the next recording. In my series, I placed my house on the top of a mountain facing the sunset. There's a large mountain range in the background. If you've seen a couple videos, if you watch the first 30 seconds, you probably know what I'm talking about. And, I did that so every day when I was done, if I was at base, sometimes I was very far away, I could just go on the balcony and watch the sun go down. And that's where this feeling, it didn't start there, but that's where I started to realize what it probably was. And, I missed the mark on what I set out to do. I didn't reinvent the nostalgia that I felt while playing old Minecraft, but I did discover something new and possibly better. After spending a couple weeks, I got my world configured and I was making videos on it. I was happy with it. I decided to try and again rediscover the nostalgia for my first time playing the game. And what that involved was me going on YouTube, watching some old Minecraft videos, And I noticed when I was watching these videos, specifically I can name the video. It was that Dan TDM Herobrine mod showcase from 10 years ago. And I remember as a child, that video scared me. It scared the bejeebus out of me. And now, it seems like barely even a cartoon. And that's the same kind of feeling I was getting from all these other videos. Yeah, I just watched some guy with no commentary play the old TU14 tutorial, and it felt so much smaller than what I remember. And specifically that tutorial, while I was watching that video, they finished the tutorial and they went into the castle area, and that same feeling kind of crept back in. The castle was empty, there wasn't any villagers there. It was more of a background feeling, though. Like, the nostalgia from just watching it kind of drowned out that idea, so I wasn't really focused on it. But it still begs the question, is Minecraft an inherently lonely game? Is it lacking something that other single-player survival games have? And is it affecting how people perceive the game? That's my main question. Is Minecraft an inherently lonely game? So, I learned, or most people don't need to learn this, but I'm an idiot. Humans are by nature social creatures. It's pretty obvious. Experiences are often more meaningful when shared with another. When someone, like the player, is confronted with something interesting or beautiful, such as a mountain or like a fortress or something they find cool, and they don't have anyone to share it with, it can be somewhat lonely. And if no one's playing the game with them, or they're not in our Discord with a bunch of friends, or they're not recording it for the internet, it can be somewhat lonely. In the book Loneliness, Human Nature, and the Need for Social Connection by John T. Cacioppo and William Patrick, one of the points made is that the human brain is wired for human connection, and also, in turn, shared experience. Without these things, the average human is subjected to mental and even physical consequences. You know, in a single-player world, that is taken from you. You don't have shared experience, you don't have human connection. And it's pretty much just you and the world you're in. And if you're like me, after confronting this, you try to fill in the gaps by like exploring or, you know, building a bunch of things. Like one of the unrecorded video ideas is me going out and kidnapping a bunch of villagers and moving them in to a town next to my house. And, you know, it's just to make the world feel lived in and make it so that it doesn't feel like you're the only one there. And, you know, one way I personally counteracted this is by, you know, like I said, I take screenshots and I record videos for the internet to consume. The problem is a picture only tells a small part of the story, and the video is edited down so you don't really get all the meat and potatoes of everything. And, you know, without having someone else in the game, it simply isn't the same, and it doesn't do enough to mitigate the loneliness of the game. And just recently, while I was recording a new episode of my Minecraft theories, I thought to myself, damn, if only I had an audience, I could stream this live so they could get the whole thing. Because I don't just want to experience my world by myself. I don't want to be the only one who knows what's going on in it. I want to let others see it, you know, have them give their thoughts, compare experiences, and then give me ideas. And I believe it's important for people to share their experience in anything, not just Minecraft. Minecraft was just the medium that made me truly decide to dissect these feelings, and relating it to video games is something pretty darn easy. You know, a lot of people have related Minecraft to various things that it doesn't really apply to. People call it a horror game. I saw this really goofy video. Granted, I didn't watch it. He might have made a great point where he said Minecraft Peaceful was like scary, like you're not alone in Minecraft Peaceful. And I'd like to make the opposite point. Minecraft isn't scary, it's just depressing. Because, you know, you're alone. You're not playing on a server, you're playing single player, you're alone. And something that should be noted is a lot of single player games have this issue, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them have fixed it. I'd like to bring up an example. Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, you're riding alone, like, it can be lonely. And I've had moments in that game where I don't see an NPC for hours, and then the first one I see tries to kill me, and it's like, alright, buddy. But, like, you're riding alone, obviously you're gonna be alone. But then you get to the camp, and you have all these characters here that have their own separate arcs, ideas, and they feel real. They're done very well. Like, they feel like they're real people in some aspects. You know, sometimes they don't, but for the most part, they do. And that makes the game feel lived in and feel alive. And there are other aspects of the game that help. Minecraft doesn't have that. There are no characters. Even when you're playing the game, you have no equal. Like, the closest thing you is the villager, and they don't even speak. And, like, you can do multiplayer, but then again, that's a manufactured social experience. They're not there with you. They're not present physically. But it's the closest replacement. Something I discovered was this thing called the social brain hypothesis, and it suggests that our brains have developed in such a way that social interaction plays a critical role in shaping cognitive function. We are wired to connect with others, and, you know, sharing experiences is just part of this need for social bonding. When we engage in activities like playing Minecraft and we enjoy what it has to offer, our brains expect to involve others as a part of the experience, but when no one is there present to share the moment, it can give you a sense of incompleteness or loneliness. When the human brain experiences positive stimuli from something like seeing a cool mountain or getting some achievement, that feeling is usually enhanced by sharing it with someone, even if that someone is a stranger. An in-game example would be if you stood on the top of a mountain, watching the sun go down. You know, I've done that plenty of times. And someone you're playing with, bringing it back to multiplayer, said, wow, look at that, that's so cool. And you agree. When you're alone, you don't get that reciprocation of an experience. It's just you and the world you're living in. While seeing that can be rewarding, seeing that cool thing, it's less rewarding when you're alone. And if you're a terminal overthinker like me, it can be kind of sad, and it can remind you of loneliness. Another concept at play is people tend to discuss their experiences because people are yapatrons who really like to share, and I'm one of them. You get me talking about something, I'll talk for hours. And like I said earlier, seeing something cool or accomplishing something by itself is neat, but it's far more impactful when you share it with others. Like, the main reason people do paintings or draw is because they want people to see them, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole main idea. And while with anything there is some level of satisfaction doing it alone, like, you could have a buddy, and because he's a Sigma or Alpha male of some retarded variety, he is super talented in some niche aspect, but you won't know about it because he's too much of a mysterious Sigma to share it with you. Something like that. Many experiences are better when shared with others. And, you know, many people don't understand that, and that's very unfortunate. You know, when playing Minecraft alone, you miss out on that opportunity for sharing. You know, sharing something in the moment is pretty cool. I think that Minecraft, more so than other games, tends to bring out the fact that, you know, people might not care about the actual experience rather than the social aspect of that experience. A personal anecdote for me would be, I went to an old summer camp years ago, and it was grueling, physically grueling. I'm not a huge fan of sports, and they make you do a lot of sports, and none of them are fun, and they have extra rules, and it's weird. I think the one thing I enjoyed was going whitewater rafting, and it was, you know, the camp was fun, but not for those physical experiences. It was fun because the social aspect, the people there made it fun. And there were certain aspects of it, like the bathrooms and the food, that really made it bad. But the saving grace was the social aspect. If you are by yourself experiencing something horrible, it's horrible. But when you're with someone and you're trying to have fun, it's fun. It's a very simple idea. You can still enjoy, like, going back to Minecraft, you can still enjoy the things that it has to offer, but again, it's less impactful when there's no one there to experience it with you. And that can invite feelings like loneliness. And it's these specific things that make me believe unique experiences are more of a gatekeeper's fallacy than something that is actually personally rewarding. Like, what's the point of keeping something like, I don't know, a picturesque vista to yourself? The answer is there isn't a point, and your brain subconsciously knows that, which is a possible answer to why someone might feel lonely when you like see something cool and you have no one to share it with, or generally while playing Minecraft alone. Another reason for Minecraft to bring out feelings of loneliness is emotional contrast. If you have emotional vulnerabilities, or if your emotional state is already predisposed to feelings of negative emotions, such as isolation, even doing things that should normally better your mood might make you more aware of your solitude and, in turn, spoil a good thing. Unfortunately, I have found myself falling victim to this exact same thing, and it's part of the reason I made this video. While looking for slime balls to craft some leads, I ventured pretty far from my home base, and all I was doing was looking for a swamp biome. On the way there, I saw a bunch of mountains, many mountains, and I usually like to take pictures of mountains, so I'd take a pause, I'd stop, I'd take a screenshot, and I kept posting the pictures in my friend's Discord. And curiously, at the most scenic areas, I found that feeling of being alone creeping back into my mind. This time, I couldn't really stop thinking about it, and it led me to make this video. Something specifically related to the scenery in Minecraft is that beautiful scenery often invokes a heightened emotional state, and if you have mods like I do, and if you've been a follower of the series, even though it's only been up for about a couple episodes, you will see that the scenery in Minecraft probably is indicative of that of real life in certain aspects. It increases your emotional states. It gives you a heightened emotional state, making people more attuned to their feelings. If someone is already dealing with negative emotions, such as loneliness, the beauty of the environment may make those emotions more pronounced, so you become more aware of what you're feeling. Well, I myself have experienced this in Minecraft. I've also experienced this in real life, so it's not isolated to one thing or another. You can even experience this in other games. Another example is bringing back up Red Dead Redemption 2. Sitting in Valentine looking at the grizzlies from there, it's a pretty dang good view, and they also have other good views in the game. And that one mission with the hot air balloon, if you're not focusing on shooting people, you're focusing on looking around you, and it's pretty neat to see. The question of which version of the experience is more common, I can't really answer, but the principle of how you get there is always the same. It's pretty common for people to turn to escapism to fix a feeling of inadequacy, loneliness, or some other negative emotion, but I believe the opposite can also be true. I believe that escapism can lead to loneliness. It's withdrawal from face-to-face interactions, illusions of connection, you misuse your time and energy, and social avoidance is a result from escapism because you become kind of used to your echo chamber where everything's nice and dandy because you're in an escapist reality. People may indulge completely in their escapism in order to disassociate from real life stuff. Like, some forms of escapism might create a false sense of social interaction, like multiplayer games, where, let's take the Valorant community, for example. I have a feeling none of those people wear deodorant because they're online and you can't smell other people when you're online. It creates a false sense of social interaction, and that leads to, something that might completely replace true social interaction. If escapism becomes a habitual coping mechanism, a person might become avoidant of social interactions altogether, and that really reinforces that feeling of deep loneliness. And it's a vicious cycle. It's an antisocial cycle, too, because you do the escapism because you're lonely, and then the escapism in turn makes you more lonely. Loneliness can drive individuals to seek refuge, but that refuge isn't actually helping them. It further alienates them from real life social connections. And you know, I haven't fallen into that trap, or at least I like to think I haven't. I have a job, I have real life friends, I do things in real life, I spend more time outside of my home than normal, I guess. I don't know what the mean is for my age, but many people, including myself, use Minecraft as a form of escapism, because it provides an immersive world that's infinitely free. You can do anything, provided you're patient enough. It also provides you with a sense of control, where, you know, some players, they might feel like they have no control in real life. The issue lies with the game still, because Minecraft's expansive and procedurally generated world can feel isolating. The game's scale can evoke a sense of vast emptiness, reinforcing these feelings. You know, being alone, the player might try to escape, but you play Minecraft and, you know, still alone. In a single player world, the only entities are NPCs, and they provide no real human interaction. The player might complete tasks and build structures, but the absence of meaningful social connection makes a sense of loneliness very, very present. Perhaps the most influential reason to discuss here is, for some players, the solitude of Minecraft reflect or even amplify their real-life feelings of isolation. Minecraft landscapes are virtually infinite. The endlessness, it provides a sense of scale that can easily invoke existential thoughts, similar to those triggered by vast natural environments, you know, things in real life. In the real world, standing before an ocean or a mountain can make you feel insignificant. You know, for me personally, I'm a huge fan of thunderstorms, and that's exactly why I'm a huge fan of them, because things that make you small kind of set you in your place. They make you more in tune with reality. In Minecraft, as you walk through a dense forest, or you sail across an endless sea, or stand on a cliff overlooking an expansive valley, the overwhelming size of the game's environment can induce a similar feeling. You know, it makes you feel small, it makes you feel isolated. And this sense of isolation can be magnified when a player spends long periods of time exploring the game alone, which again, that's something I like to do. The sheer absence of other players reinforced that theme of solitude. Despite being surrounded by this beauty and this creative potential and these structures and all the things that, you know, make a giant world somewhat dense, the player is often reminded of their own aloneness in this infinite universe that is Minecraft. You can go anywhere as long as you want. Like, you could walk 1,000,000 blocks one direction. They removed the Farlands, as far as I know, so the game just goes on and on. You know, it's also Minecraft. Also, the player is aware that they can build and shape the world. You know, they're present within it, although it doesn't really matter, because no one's there to observe or acknowledge them. You have that end credits scene at the end of the game, but it's just words on the screen, and you know, it probably reinforces their sense of loneliness in some aspects. And it's also, it's a lack of structured goals the game has. It has one main goal: kill the Ender Dragon. That's it, and it doesn't tell you how to get there. You know, it teaches you, as far as I know, how to mine blocks, you know, craft a crafting table, craft some tools, and then you just got to figure it out from that place onwards. There's no book in a hidden structure somewhere to tell you how to play the game. You just gotta either look it up or figure it out through trial and error. And that's very much unlike traditional games that have linear narratives or set objectives. Minecraft kind of operates as a sandbox game. You know, it's giving the players the freedom to explore, build, and create whatever they want to. This lack of direction, though, it mirrors the existential notion of the absurd. And there's this guy, his name's Albert Camus, and he describes, in an absurd universe, life has no inherent meaning, and individuals are free to create their own purpose, but they must grapple with the knowledge that this purpose is self-imposed and ultimately arbitrary. And I feel that applies heavily to Minecraft, because, like, it is kind of arbitrary. You just go to kill the Ender Dragon, and unless you have some intimate knowledge of the game that's not obvious to your eyes, you don't really know why. You don't really care why. You're just doing it because that's what you're supposed to do. And the player can dedicate hours to building intricate structures, mining resources, or discovering new biomes, yet as they complete one task, the world doesn't really change that much. There's no inherent reward or purpose beyond killing the Ender Dragon. And the game reflects kind of an existential void where a person's actions, no matter how grand, seem small against the infinite backdrop of the game's world. And you really notice that when you kill the Ender Dragon and you finish the game, nothing changes. There's just no more Ender Dragon. You know, you can get the Elytra, but the game's ended. Like, there's nothing else to do. And that lack of structure, also, I've noticed it leads to what the community has now dubbed 2-week phases, where they, you know, play Minecraft, usually in a multiplayer world, for a couple weeks, and then they quit out of boredom because, like I said, like I've been saying, it has no structure. There's no decided structure that the game has. It has one goal. And that's, you know, some people say that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, personally. Because a lot of, like I said before, a lot of games have set narratives, set linear paths. Even Red Dead Redemption, the main missions, that's the linear path. You take those, and that gets you to where you need to be. Minecraft offers so much more than that. It offers things to do, side objectives you can make up, basically. And that's, you know, one of the things that makes the game, but it can lead to these things. Well, Minecraft also offers an experience of solitude. If you play single player, this can sometimes transform into loneliness, depending on the player's mindset and experience. Solitude in the game can be peaceful, providing a space for creative expression and reflection. The act of building and shaping a world can also feel empowering and fulfilling. However, extended periods, hours at a time, especially in a large open area and open environment, it can shift this solitude into existential loneliness. And although Minecraft doesn't deal with the concept of morality really, in a traditional sense, since, you know, you respawn after death, the survival mechanics somewhat added an extra layer of that if you're playing survival. You know, because then it gives you something to do. You could die from mobs, hunger, falling from heights, you know. It makes you seem fragile up until, you know, you start a raid farm and all of a sudden you become unkillable even in hardcore worlds. It's kind of, I hate to make this observation, seeing as the nature of this guy has become kind of a joke, but it's Homer's character, Sisyphus. He can, you know, just pushing that dang boulder uphill, only for it to roll back down. That's like kind of how Minecraft players engage Minecraft, with the 2-week phases, and the getting bored and the quitting, and then coming back because something else happened. And, you know, they just kind of go back and forth. And it makes the game strange. It's a strange dynamic it has with its community. You know, and let's bring things back to creative. We haven't really had an in-depth discussion on that. It gives you basically limitless potential. You know, you can build anything you want, but it doesn't give you anything to engage with. There's no goal for creative. Everything is handed to you. It's weird. You know, that's the idea. It's creative, whatever. But, like, it's kind of empty. It's not like a New Games Plus run of anything. It's just, you know, a creative mode. There's not really... It's weird. Because you can build a city. Let's say you just build, like, a giant city and you move a bunch of villagers in there. What then? It's just... And I have personal experience with this. I used to build these worlds, these Minecraft worlds, with these structures. I'd have structures everywhere. I built my giant mansion home, and then I built around it, and this is on the Xbox One, so this is post Xbox 360, pre-PC era. So I built my house on like this snowy shore, and then I built a ship and a dock, and I built a moat, or not a moat, I guess it'd be a castle wall surrounding my house. And then I thought, maybe there's some other structures I can do. And I would go out and I just build these structures. And then, like, a year into that world, I had, you know, basically a small... It'd be like a survival adventure world, kind of. But it was very, very empty. There was nothing in it. I put villagers in the houses I made, you know. I had, like, evil pillager outposts I built. But it was empty. I'd, you know, spawn in the world, I'd build something new, I'd go back, I'd spend less than, you know, 10 minutes on a day on it sometimes. because it was just kind of empty, you know. And you know, you have complete control over the environment, but at that point in my life, there was no one to really appreciate that. So I built all that stuff I never showed anybody, and then I deleted the world on accident. And you know, when I started to make this video, I didn't set out to answer any questions. Honestly, it just became like a rant video. But if it was, you know, it was kind of more to see if others felt similarly, I guess. You know, it's a silly block game. It's a semi-coherent word salad of ideas that partially justify something that's pretty simple. But I did discover some things, like how, you know, certain feelings interact with the game, how it can invoke a sense of loneliness. And I think the people who make these videos on it saying Minecraft is scary, Minecraft is this, Minecraft is boring, Minecraft is that, I think it's all just bunk. I don't think it means anything, to be honest. I think it's just words to say words. Like, you know, this video was kind of words to say words. But, like, the Minecraft is what it is. It's what people kind of make it. And if it happens to be lonely, it is gonna be lonely. You know? And it's unique that someone can derive any kind of conclusion from a game that doesn't provide you a clear-cut conclusion. Minecraft is very unique in that aspect. It also surprises me when I looked up this exact line of thinking. A lot of people felt the same. A lot of people believe Minecraft was inherently lonely, and that's, you know, there's nothing, it's just an empty game on a, you know, base level. Many people reciprocated that idea. It led me, you know, to these conclusions I drew. But it does, you know, still, I have the question, is Minecraft an inherently lonely game? And as I've shown, it's not as straightforward as it might seem. On one hand, you know, the vastness and the bigness and the infinite nature of Minecraft can amplify these feelings of isolation. And the quietness can be deafening at times. However, amidst the solitude lies an incredible game full of opportunity. While we may be exploring alone, we're also kind of making our own narratives, making our own stories. We're building cool structures, discovering weird secrets, and we're shaping a world that kind of, in a way, reflects our imagination. And there's a unique beauty in that process. And it's in this act of creation that we can probably try and find some meaning and joy, even in moments of solitude. And I believe that's the entire point of the game. And I hate to rehash things like that. Like, the game has been out for a while. It's already has its point kind of said. But I feel like some people need to be reminded of what it actually is. You know, they say, like I said, these videos that people make about this game, like it's scary or it's boring or it's whatever, they're kind of projecting their ideas onto it. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'm doing it right now. I think the game's somewhat lonely, and I'm telling you that, but I'm not saying that's the point. That's not the point. I think that's just something that's just a way I feel about the game. It's a game that offers so much freedom, you know, and the desire to share those things that you see or you do in the game, it's fundamental to our human nature. Whether you're doing it in a multiplayer server, sending screenshots to friends, or if you're like me, you're making videos on the internet like this, kind of blabbing about it. And I think these shared moments can kind of transform that, you know, perceived solitary experience into something a little richer. So, you know, making this video was kind of like a odd thing for me. It's very different from what I've done. You know, the past is just kind of stupid gameplay videos. I don't really give my opinion on anything. I'm hoping some people see this and they start to think, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of just a word salad. I was just making this for fun, really. Because, you know, sometimes you run out of ideas, you gotta make up new ones, pull them out of your ass. But, that's about it. See ya.